Hey everybody! So yesterday we finished up our chapter 17 graphing chapter, and we're moving on into some lines, into some shapes, into some surfaces with chapter 18 and 19. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is that lines, right, as they're shown right here, can make up pictures. So even when you're looking around the worlds around you, you're going to see lines inside of flat drawings. You might see lines and curves inside of some more complex drawings or some real life shapes. So really this math is all around you. So before we jump really into this, I would like you guys to think about what you already know with lines and shapes. So we're just going to review what you already know about lines and shapes. So a couple years ago, my guess is many of you got very good at naming these shapes. Flat shapes like squares, rectangles, triangles, and circles. And you probably have started seeing these same shapes around your house in real objects. If you look at the tissue box, you might see the square on the side. If you're looking at the rug on the floor or a tablecloth, you might see a circle. Books might look like rectangles, or maybe that cool perfume bottle looks like a triangle, right? So those plain shapes that we see in our math books also make up the world around us. I'm looking at a computer screen that is a rectangle. I'm sitting at a desk that is a rectangle. Looking at a wall that is a square. They're all around us. So that's the first thing I wanted to do, is maybe just say those words to you, and yeah, that rings a bell for me. So the first thing we should talk about, now that we're digging a little deeper into some of these shapes, is that they have sides, which stretch from one corner to the next, and they have corners where two sides meet. So I might talk about counting the corners, and I'm just really talking about those spots where two sides touch. I might reference the sides of a certain shape. The sides are going to be those flat areas, right, that go from corner to corner. Some sides are longer, like that one. Some sides are shorter, like that one. So if I was to ask you about the corners of a triangle, you would probably say every triangle has 3 corners. Yeah, 3 angles, 3 corners. If I asked about the sides of a square, you would say, oh, Mr. W, all the sides on the square are the same. These shapes do not have sides or corners, right? Because they're not flat. Two flat sides don't meet, so they don't have corners. They might have an edge, right? Or a line that goes around them, bouncing in a bunch of curves, but they're not going to be the same as the straight sides and the corners that we talk about when we have these more usual shapes. So some have sides and corners, some do not. You probably knew some of those things. So in addition to flat shapes, over the next few weeks here, we're going to be talking about some solid shapes. Solid shapes have an added dimension. They're not just length and width, because they're also deep. And you can see that when you look at this rectangular prism. It is very similar to a rectangle if you just look at one side, right? Looks just like a rectangle, but it is deep. See how it goes back? So it is also different than a rectangle because it is 3D, right? It has 3 dimensions. It's made out of width, length, and depth. Same with a cube. This is not the same as a square because it is 3D. It goes deep. Even a circle. This is a ball shape or a sphere. This basketball, baseball, soccer ball should be pretty familiar with you. It is not only round, it's rounded all the way around like a ball. right? So these solid shapes are different. I think these are obviously different. This is a cone, like the bottom of an ice cream cone, a cylinder or can, and this is a pyramid. And you'll very commonly see these objects out in the world. You'll see rectangular prisms holding our tissues. You'll see spheres playing out on the playground, or cones when you're driving in traffic. Today, I'm going to have you guys take a closer look at some of these shapes. You're going to have to tell me what shapes you think these might be, right? You might have to count some sides and corners and let me know where we are as we move into the first day of this chapter. It helps a teacher kind of know where to start. So if you could do kind of like a quick review for me and let me know what you already know. So this is going to be a quick check. You're going to be dragging the names of these shapes, these solids, down at the bottom here, to the right place. Then you might have to drag the names of these, or at least the plane shapes that you see inside of some of these. Count up some sides and corners. Remember, sides are flat, right, or straight edges. And then corners are places where two edges meet. And then the last thing you're going to do is you're going to look at these solid shapes and see if you know any of these words too. And that just gives me an idea of where to start. When you're all done with that, I have some really fun glow shapes that you guys can draw for me. So I'm going to send this to you out on Seesaw, and you can use that glow pen on your iPad and really do some fun shapes for me. See how many different shapes you can draw me glowing kind of in this cool dark sky. Okay, everybody? Thanks now. Bye.